Welcome to a new short update on the markets. Bitcoin is correcting. We have been waiting for such a correction. And in the meantime, lots of drama is taking place with the curve hack, the bold rug pull, the potential that it is actually SPF or Sam Trabucco, and the outlook for the markets in itself, in which we are just correcting a little bit. The fears are going through the roof, which means that there is some potential that we're actually going to reverse from here, but we have to do it in a fast manner. As right now we have been making a new low. We are still correcting, the trend is still down, and that's what we're discussing in this short update on the markets, in which we focus on a Bitcoin price action and the scenarios that we were looking at in terms of perspectives on how to execute these trades. But before we continue, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also make sure to join our platform, where you can find information about the swing trade altcoin portfolio, which I update every Saturday. You can find it in the Discord with ongoing updates. Also, you can test the trial week for 1 week for free if you want to become a member of the premium section. Now, when we're looking at the markets, we can definitely see on the charts that the trend is down. So we have been seeing this downwards momentum here from April to June. We have also been seeing a sweep of this recent high. We've seen another case taking place here, and since then price has started to correct. We've also seen a case that we were witnessing a range construction from 29.7 to 31.5, in which price didn't really fell out of that range. We tried to break through it here at 31.7, but we slammed all the way back in. It was during the XRP case. And here we started to lose the actual range low, in which the price tried to break through back into the range, but we found resistance in this block in the previous high. And as a result, we have seen a case that we have been continuing to fall, in which we are constructing a new low. This week is packed with a lot of macroeconomic events. So we've got unemployment rate, we've got the jobless job openings as well, we've got PMI data, we've got the ADP numbers. So there's a lot of things that are taking place during this week, which can move markets again. So what we need to look at is, before we are going to watch curve for a little bit, is that we need to see what the overall markets are doing. So for instance, gold is currently still consolidating beneath resistance. It is rejecting here as well, so we start to lose momentum as we found resistance here. It's just not unlikely that gold is going to have some more corrections following Bitcoin before we can start moving up. So if gold starts to pace up, that is also the moment that Bitcoin most likely starts to pace up, because these two are heavily correlated to each other. If we're looking at the indices, we've got the case that we're just consolidating beneath the highs, which means that we most likely are going to continue to break through the highs and start potentially even making a new all-time high. A year ago, people were not expecting this to take place on the markets, but actually we are in a heavy uptrend, and the uptrend is not going to change relatively soon. So gold is currently consolidating. I think the odds are that if we break 1985, you clearly want to be long. Otherwise, you can start looking at 1930 or the sweep at 1890 for gold. Going towards the yields. The yields are still consolidating here. I mentioned it previously. I think the chances of it breaking south is definitely there. We're on the edge. The question is, what is going to be the trigger? It's either going to be a pretty heavy backdrop on the economy, which means that the recession could be there, or it's going to be unemployment that goes through the roof, which we could be having this week. But then we also have unemployment data that is coming out or the jobless claims are coming out positive week after week. So it would be very surprising if this is going to turn around, or we need to see more banks falling apart. PacWest has merged, and we had a small bank falling apart last week. So a few variables are there for a potential breakdown. For now, we're just consolidating. Going back towards the case of Bitcoin, we can see that we are currently correcting. And I think people are in favor of creating an edge or creating a chart that is potentially going to have an impact on the course, on the price movements, that we take out these lows, that we destroy this trend. But given the fact that the volatility is on an all-time low, cycle low, actually from the past 13 years, we've not seen the volatility being so low as it is right now, which ultimately means that there is going to be a significant move on the market. So this week is either going to be a week where we cascade all the way south towards 27k, and then the chances are that we're going to have a new low, or we have a sweep beneath the low taking place, we reclaim, and the correction is over. Yesterday we've also had a case of Curve being attacked by maybe Sam Trabucco, but at least the CEO or the founder of Curve has a pretty big long position, which has around 47% of the circulating supply, decentralized finance in it. They were hunting the actual position, were chasing it. The fears was swimming around that we potentially could have had a similar case as with Luna. Right now, the overall scenario is that we have avoided a potential breakout. You can see that the daily candles are pretty strong at this point, through which the assumption is that we're going to have that the fear is slowly going to move away. You also have to look at FXS, which is Frux, that is also bouncing back up, and also Aave is bouncing upwards again. So overall, DeFi has seen a big impact with this actual news item. Things like Chainlink have also been correcting a little bit here, but we will be focusing on DeFi and altcoins in the other update. Going back towards Bitcoin, we have seen a case that we were looking for a sweep of the lows, right? So we have been seeing this, in which we wanted to see a breakout above 29.7 as the crucial breaker. If we break 29.7, most likely the price of Bitcoin is going to accelerate quite fast above these highs, and we might be rallying towards 31k even. But we see this wick, and we have been seeing an activation of a potential short there, which wasn't stopped out, and we're getting into territories of potential TP structures. So what we're looking at in terms of the price action of Bitcoin is that we're doing the exact same as what we have been witnessing in June, which is fine, but the overall levels that we're looking at are 28.3 to and 28.6 to 7 as a potential low for this entire correction, to avoid that Bitcoin drops beneath the 200-week MA. So this scenario that I've been making here is still active there, which means that if you go towards the other structures, what do we see? Well, we see the structure of having downwards momentum, right? So we've got 29.7 here. We've got that as a clear resistance point, which we need to break through. We've got this low here, which we have been sweeping, which also means that potentially you can start creating some bullish divergence here. But it's too far away on the lower time frames. On the higher time frames, there's still some room to continue the downwards fall, depending on the exchange that you're looking at. So in this case, when we look at the lower time frames, we can confirm that as long as Bitcoin stays beneath 29.1, most likely we have another sweep. So then we take out this low, we're looking at 28.2 to 28.4, and then we potentially are going to have the reversal, meaning that this entire structure is going to be broken towards 31k. So in that sense, it is fulfilling the scenario that I want it to be. So I'm getting filled on long positions. And I think that given the fact that the fear is so high in the markets at this point, it makes a lot of sense to start targeting these longs. Why is the exact same case? The drops are quite swift, which means that here we've got a harsh drop, another harsh drop, and the drops start to become slim, which means that we barely take out the high, which means that you've got a lot of highs to be taking out, and therefore a big move is on the horizon, especially with the volatility being so low. In that case, if what we see here is a swift correction, another swift correction, if this correction is barely going to move beneath the previous low, the odds are there that we are going to take out these highs all the way towards 31k, which means that you likely want to see positioning into longs because the sellers are not taking over control that much. What do we need for that? We need to stay above 28.4. So I think accumulating your position here makes a lot of sense, and to be patient from there, but we need to make the move in the next 48 to 72 hours. Take care, and I'll see you again on the update Thursday. Ciao.